Good evening.
Everywhere I go on this island, it seems to me I find degeneracy.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. See, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid.
We have a bargain.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Do you feel the pain? Always fear. Pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
His entire work consists of violence, all the time, obsessed with the issue of violence. Mayhem, gouging out of eyes, autopsies on the stage.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the temptation to go on camera and do 17 minutes of this completely muted. Oof. It is there. However, we will not be doing the Carl special.
I was going to say, get the old Mr. Incredible if you know, like for those who know, for those who don't know meme.
Man.
A deep law pull. You know, it was tempting. It was tempting.
I remember
Folks,
that.
welcome to Double Feature Horror Show, episode 155. This very tired evening. Tired, but enthusiastic. I hope you're well. Familiar names in the comments include maybe someone returning we've not seen for a while live. Victoria, good to see you. Hello, Baldwin. Hello, Patrick Batman Mima. Very prompt. Good to see you. Folks, and if you're watching this live, you don't usually comment, drop a hi in. It's always welcome. We are covering Mute Witness as part of our underrated 90s gem stream. Stream arc. Did I mention the tiredness? And this one, I might have to. I'm going to make a case for it. There'll be a bit of a back and forth on this one. We're going to seesaw, I reckon. We're going to seesaw on this one, but I hope by the end of the stream you're going to come away with an appreciation of it. Of course, before we talk about the film in excruciating detail and full spoilers, you know, we will have a little topic section. We're going to talk briefly about a series called Douglas is Cancelled. Basically, I'm shoehorning in stuff that has got nothing to do with horror, but that I want to talk about. And I love that you guys let me get away with that. And do a little bit of shilling. Victoria, life was happening. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. The my daughter arriving is the reason I am so consistently shattered week to week. John Goris coming in saying, didn't manage to do the homework, but he remembers it back in the day. I bet many of us, even if we didn't see it back in the day, I bet we remember the VHS box with this poster on it. Like, I found that so iconic. The imagery of the mouth sewn shut, it's always stuck with me. Am I alone in that? Mergu, had you seen the poster? TCG, were you familiar with this one?
I don't think I'm familiar with it.
I'd seen the box. I'd never seen the movie before.
Mm.
So it was one that I kind of overlooked because it looked more like a thriller than a horror movie. So
It's fair enough. I guess that's kind of like a holdover of the old culture, you know. You want to rent a video of some kind, but you just go in and you're kind of judging by the box, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could browse a little bit, but they really had to hit you with some great box art to get your attention amidst all the competition in Blockbuster or your local independent video rental store, of course. Right, but we will move on. Patrick Batman, you think you saw it in HMV? If you did, I think this cover art will have stuck with you. I mean, for me, it's a winner. It's a winner. All right, folks. Well, I'll move us on. I want us to be efficient. Quickly saying, of course, we are joined by Mergoot.
Greetings, all. And I may as well shill. It's at Mergoot on X. And whatever catches my fancy. This week has been rather busy.
Yeah, a little bit going on your side of the pond.
So it's
Really, what's been going on? It's been a bit of a quiet news week.
Well, the Acolyte finished, obviously.
Oh,
So
of course, yeah.
We're all eagerly watching that.
Yeah, well, I'm watching Disparu's reviews of it.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm here and I've been a guest on TCG's Friday night community quiz, and that leads into that crime guy.
Oh,
Let's go
segue.
What an absolute shill master.
The champion of segues right there, mate. I will, if I was wearing a hat, I would take it off to you, mate. That was brilliant. Yeah. So we've got the Friday night community quiz happening tomorrow night, as Mergoot said. Regular
Wait, this
guest.
one right here.
This one right here. I was only pranking your chat. Of course, I heard about stuff that happened the other day. I was about to go to sleep when this happened. Kept me up for a good few extra hours. It did. So yeah, we're gonna have a little Donald Trump trivia section I say to commemorate, but to because it's relevant, algorithm and all that. This thumbnail is probably going to catch a few eyes, I think.
It's good. It's solid.
But yeah, we've got Mergoot coming back, we've got Denziel coming back, and we've also got Harrian and Tash coming over tomorrow to have another go at the quiz. I did one with them a couple of weeks back, over on Harrian's channel, where we did a politics special one for the election night, and now he's going to come over here and come back and have another go.
Nice.
I see the lineup. Too bad you couldn't put Harrian and Dins on the same team so we could bully both of them at the same time.
Well, yeah, I know, but the thing is, I had him and Tash go up against each other last time, and I thought, well, I'd love to hear how them two work as a team.
She is the boss.
Yeah. See who really wears the trousers,
Yeah. Oh, fantastic stuff. All right. Well, folks, you know when that is. Tomorrow night, that is 9 p.m. Am I right, TCG?
It is 51 minutes from now. If you're living in a different part of the world, whatever time it is, add 51 minutes, be there.
Excellent.
Otherwise, you're gay.
You, of course, make no judgment on that, and therefore we are not in breach of any YouTube terms of services.
Yeah, well, I'm here.
Big gay lords. So,
no. If you can make it, please do. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it again, and I'm going to try and keep this one more because I will say actually, in a few weeks I will take a short break from it just because the next a few Fridays from the 9th of August I've actually got plans, so I'm not going to be around to do those. But yeah, it is going to be a regular thing. Apart from that period of time.
Well, there you go, folks. There you go. And as for me, well, you know how we do it around here. You can support the stream via Subscribestar or as a YouTube member if you want to get access to exclusive content, early releases, etc. And otherwise, super chats are open. You guys are veterans. You know how we do it. And we're going to do an efficient stream. Therefore, I will immediately derail to something unrelated to horror, but something that sort of got my goat a bit. Have you heard about this show?
Oh, Destiny is cancelled.
No. Wrong side of the pond.
Yep. Heard about it. Not really interested in it. My in-laws are watching it and they like it. They did say one of the episodes. It sounds like it starts off quite comedic and then sort of takes a bit more of a serious turn. But
Yeah.
I mean that's literally. I mean, they're the only sort of things I've heard about it were from a very brief conversation we had at a barbecue the other day.
And would you say these in-laws are are they sort of online autists like us?
Oh God,
Or are
no,
they a bit more
no,
normal?
no, 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 no. They're very normal, lovely people. They don't they don't have
Far
time for
more
this.
balanced and
Yeah, they got
healthy.
much better things to do than to log online and to shout at people. No, they're lovely people. Honestly, like I'll say this here, so it's recorded, so that for future reference. People slate their in-laws. Some people say, they can get a real rough hand with their in-laws, but I tell you what, mine are absolutely pucker. Top people.
Oh, what's that message you've put in the private chat, TCG, about JK
oh yeah.
lol?
Yeah, so this film actually won a few
JK
awards.
lol? What?
It was nominated for a couple of things. So it was nominated for not this, the film we're going to talk about.
Mhm.
It was nominated for a sit guest film.
No. I was joking, mate. I was joking.
No, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. You brought it up. I'm saying it now. I'm saying it. I'm going to say it.
Go.
So it was nominated for a Sitges Film Award for Best Film. It was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Horror Film, Best Actress. But it did win a Festival International du Film Fantastique de Gérardmer for Special Jury and Special Jury Prize, Special Mention. But, ladies and gentlemen, it won a Nika Award for Best Producer. Nika.
Yes, that is Nika. Oh dear.
Nico.
Oh goodness. Right. We're going to wrestle this stream into some class. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, I was kind of fascinated by this. Mostly, and let's set the scene. This is a series called Douglas is Cancelled. It is a mainstream thing. I think it is very much directed towards the regular mass audience, and it is about the subject of cancel culture. Note immediately the person being cancelled, older white male, and look at an ex-Amy Pond star of Oculus, Karen Gillan there. It's written by Stephen Moffat, ex-Doctor Who Sherlock producer. Sort of coming back and produced by his mother-in-law, Beryl Virtue. Produces almost all his stuff. Very handy. Anyway, what I think this is a little bit of a change of messaging. Now, I'm judging a book completely from its cover, so I'm willing to be totally wrong about this, but my understanding is this is effectively a change of message so that cancel culture is no longer not happening. It's now firmly, okay, it is happening, and here's what you should think about it.
Yeah.
And that interested me, that the change in messaging to people. Oh, see you, Mima. Have a good one. Have a good one.
Angie.
Yeah. I'm interested in that. I'm very interested when you get something effectively telling you what to think. And the first time I heard of this came from an article. This article right here. This article is basically why I'm doing this.
Oh, right. Okay. I think I remember you mentioned this to me.
Yeah. I tweeted about this because I saw it a while ago. It caught. I like a bit of Karen Gillan news. She's no Christina Hendricks, but we appreciate her. We're a fan of her in Oculus, But I just saw this. Marvel star Karen Gillan is not scared of being cancelled. I thought that's an odd title to go with. Why is she saying that? Have they found her a non-account? What's going on? So I looked through it and I realized, oh, okay, it's a promo for this show.
Yeah.
Okay, fair play. But I just sort of thought, realistically, why is this there? Karen Gillan isn't scared of being cancelled. I mean, let's just read this here. Being cancelled as a modern concept evolved from social media interactions. It has become a way to call on others to reject personal business. This can happen when the target breaks social norms. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
This also happened when people have expressed opinion on politics, business, and even pop culture. Well, I don't know. Yeah, depends what kind of opinions you're talking about. I mean, it's a particular interesting time to have this discussion, is it? Because we're starting to see cancellations actually go the other way.
Yeah,
this
we
week.
are. Yeah. It's almost like now the shoe is on the other foot. We gotta go main with it and say, oh no, it's a bad thing. We you know, well, I actually, to be fair, I don't really want to comment too much because again, like I say, I haven't seen the show. I'm not really. It's not something. It's not something I'd watch. But it's interesting that now, especially with the Trump situation. I mean, some of the things that have been coming out are absolutely disgusting. You know, regardless of where you sit on that side of the political aisle. I mean, any sort of violence is bad. But yeah, like Patrick says, most notably Destiny. He's what some would say a left-leaning politics person, and he has made some abhorrent comments as well. And he has been, I wouldn't say cancelled, but I would say that there is some sort of accountability that he's now getting because he's still freely posting on X, but he's had his monetization taken away from him. He has been banned from Kick though, which
that's spectacular.
Which I'm very surprised. I was quite surprised about that. I don't know what the situation is with his YouTube or any other platforms that he's on, but it is interesting that this show sort of comes out and then we're starting to see. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, but you are starting to see it sort of hit the other side now, and it's kind of like one of those sort of taste your own getting a taste of your own medicine situations where it has been very much sort of right-leaning people, more conservative centrist people getting sort of the flack end of again air quote cancellation whatnot, and now the shoe's on the other foot. It's kind of like, well, actually freedom of speech is important. Freedom of speech does matter. Cancellation is bad. Well,
absolutely. And that's kind of at the core of it. Like it's so. I saw this way before it flipped, and this flipping following an attempt to unalive the former President Trump is like, it's really flipped the dynamic. But when I saw this, it was what stood out to me is what's missing. What's the direction of cancellation? Who gets cancelled? And safe targets get cancelled. And this is very similar to an experience I had reading deeply subversive and questionable journalist John Ronson's book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed, which very well written talks about sort of cancel culture when it was written in 2016. But the sneaky line throughout that book that isn't mentioned is it doesn't have the premise of who is being cancelled, what are the trends in it. And he highlights people who are cancelled for apparently being racist, but he goes out of his way to be like, but this is bad because they weren't being, it was a mistake. And throughout the whole book, I was just left thinking, well, you've written this whole book on people's lives being ruined by a digitally enabled mass mob. But, I mean, what if they aren't mistaken? What if it wasn't a mistake? What if this person does have a currently unpopular opinion? Is it okay then? And the book ends and it seems has not been revisited when that question is actually quite pertinent. But Miss Gillen, like, saying, oh, sorry, go ahead, mate.
No, I was just reading that, and I'm just thinking, like, okay, yeah, millions of followers, yada yada yada. Not worried about being cancelled. It's like, I guarantee, if you go to her social media profiles and you have a look at what she's done, it's going to be milquetoast stuff. It'll be like, Instagram, obviously, it's just going to be like milquetoast pictures. It's going to be film sets. It's going to be like your bog sort of standard promotional stuff, it's not going to be anything controversial. So it's understandable that she wouldn't be frightful of it. Then again, it only takes a few deranged people to twist something, I suppose. But yeah,
Well, you're on the money there. Like, I saw this and I just thought, well, obviously she's playing it safe, isn't she? Like, Stephen Moffat isn't scared about being cancelled because he is thoroughly in line. Stephen Moffat is so in line that he has the famous quote where he says, he was talking about sort of race swapping people in Doctor Who and putting lots of diversity casting way back in the historical past of Britain when it's impossible. It just didn't happen. And he just said openly, yeah, we have to lie because it would be better. We're going to be inaccurate. We're going to tell the lie and make it the better version of the future. Make it the better version so we can summon that forth. Folks, you can look up the quote yourself. I've sort of bangled it, but he's just openly, we're telling a lie because it's better that way. I was like,
safer,
all right.
Safer.
Now, he's extremely safe, but Karen Gillan here, I just wondered, okay, what does she say? So I went on her Twitter.
Oh, God, you found... Oh, no. She's been asking questions, has she?
If I had time, I would have mocked up a few fake spicy tweets for her. But the reality is I wanted to test the theory. I did an advanced search for anything from her account.
Okay.
Mentioning any one of the buzzwords, LGBT, Ukraine, the Koof, etc. I tried a load of the things that are the usual battlegrounds.
Yeah.
It's not that she doesn't, she's like not saying anything controversial and she's entirely in line with the mainstream acceptable position. She literally doesn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not even happy Pride, guys. Nothing.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying she's not afraid of being cancelled. I think she's definitely afraid of being cancelled, which is why she never wades into it.
I see where you're going with this.
Clever. Okay. She's very clever. She's not taking the risk.
I mean, the thing is, right? There's a level of self-responsibility when it comes to things like your social media presence. I mean, look, I've got no problem with people wanting to be edgelords or trolls or, speak their minds on stuff. I tend not to see social media as that environment for me personally. I did a few years ago. I suppose I was quite vocal in terms of my politics and things like that. And then I realized, actually, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about half the time. So, I started to wind back from it a little bit. And I kind of realized that for me personally, it's not something that I tend to engage in with too much. Now, recent weeks have been different because we've had a bit of an election and I've been having a lot of fun with the whole 0 seats meme. But I've approached that from not necessarily as this is my hardcore beliefs and this is a hill that I'm prepared to die on. It's just this meme is pretty funny. Let's have some fun with it and see where it goes. But yeah, I mean that to be honest, it might just be her perspective as well. She might not be that interested in sharing her private thoughts out in public. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that she's frightened of it. It just maybe she just can't be bothered. Because she could. But the thing is, right? You could talk all the safe. She could come across with all the safe talking points that are deemed safe, and she'd still get flack for it. She could be the most based Marvel superhero / villain that is hiding her power levels, and she'd still get flack for it. So sometimes it's just like, okay, well, if you can have those conversations, have them with people that you know.
She's playing the smart game.
Yeah,
she's playing and also, to be honest, it's a lot more refreshing. When I look to her, I do want to hear about the acting projects.
Yeah,
to be honest, that's what we want. So kudos to her.
We moan off the bloody time about actors and stuff, getting a bit vocal, and we're just like, silence actor. We just want to hear you act, read the lines and 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 say the things. No, I get sometimes it's not enough to say, but again, like, sorry, just responding to Patrick. Yeah, not that it's not that it's not enough to say nothing. Not that she isn't. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I don't feel like social media is the place where I would have those conversations. I do have the conversations, but it is in real life with real people. If I say something and they're a bit like, "What?" I can elaborate. It doesn't get screenshotted and taken out of context, and then I'm having to defend some crap later on. Again, it's smart. She might do the same. Is what I'm saying.
I reckon so.
So
yeah, just batting around some ideas, and I'm going to put a gamble in. I'm almost certainly not going to watch this series because I've seen enough Stephen Moffat to know I do not trust the man. I do not trust his perspective, and I don't value his writing. Right. So, by and large, obviously, he has made the odd very good bit, but generally, when he's in charge of a series, I wouldn't go for it.
Precisely that, John. Precisely that. Actors are best when they maintain mystery / aloofness. Absolutely. Yes. I think social media has definitely muddied it in terms of like, on the one hand, it's great that we have a way to connect with celebrities or like our favorite actors, actresses, singers, and all that stuff. I think it's great to see what they're doing and to get sort of like an update, and there is a positive side to it. It's just when it gets a bit overarching and they start to and then they start to overreach into areas where you're like, hold on, why are you saying that? Like, even if you agree with them or not, it's like, I don't care about Mark Ruffalo's opinions. I don't care about, to be honest, I don't care about James Wood's opinions. No matter how base they are and how right they can be.
Tenacious D certainly suffered for it this week.
Tenacious D did, yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't care that Jack Black endorsed Biden. I genuinely don't. Like, people are going to. Even if, and I don't care that, what was it, Amber Rose or like Hulk Hogan's coming out and talking at the RNC event this week. I think either today or tomorrow. Like, I don't care, man. Do the leg drop,
They're celebrities and athletes.
Eat your vitamins and say your prayers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out there.
I'm very, very not interested in even your smart celebrity. Your Matt Damon pushed as the smart celebrity. Yeah. No, we are not falling for it. No.
Yeah, be mysterious, man. Leave the politics for the shit posters. Just
for Twitter and on accounts. That's
exactly.
So I haven't watched it, but I'll see if it goes where I think, because my guess for this is it's not going to be cancellation is in principle wrong. I think it's going to be be careful with it and make sure you get the right target. That is my guess for the message of the series.
Well, I can take this out of context right away. In one of the episodes, this is when it starts to take a serious turn. One of the lines that Karen says is, "I don't believe in women's rights."
Based.
Now, bear in mind, I've just said I've taken it out of context. So, if you want the context, watch the show.
Oh,
if not, there you go.
Fair play. All right, we'll move our discussion on to the film now. I realise I have 100% forgot to say what the horror homework for next week is. We're trying dropping it early. I'll say it in now anyway, and we'll reiterate at the end. It's Wishmaster. It wasn't going to be Wishmaster, but Years made a very strong case for it to be Wishmaster. And so it's Wishmaster. Next week, Wishmaster. All right, we will now talk about Stummerzeugen.
Stummerzeugen. Fantastic.
Yeah. Mute witness. It only just occurred to me. Stimme for dumb. That's where we get keep stumm. Right?
Of course. Yeah.
It's Yiddishized. Stum, mute.
Stummer.
Keep stumm. Yeah.
Stummer. Stummer. Isn't that what the media was saying that Biden had? Stummer.
Boo. All right, folks. as I said, this is a bit of an underrated gem. I hope you're going to agree with me that it's a gem. It's got an interesting production history. Certainly, Mergut picked up on one bit that really interested me. This is I believe, a British director who happened to be born in Lebanon. Oddly enough.
No,
But-
I think you picked up on it. But
Yeah. The English pair. So it has Anthony Waller is a writer director. He was born to English parents in Beirut. Oddly enough, and this is an early piece for him. Is it his debut? In 1995, having not much money to work with, he makes a very interesting choice to go where he can make a film extremely cheaply, which is Russia. And from this, he's able to get quite a lot of interesting meta ideas into it. This is a film looking at the world of snuff and coming up with a lot of interesting commentary that you would see sort of echoed in funny games and so on. But it has one very interesting aspect to it, a very interesting cameo. Mergu, would you like to explain a little bit of the history of the interesting cameo that we have in this film?
Well, he's he's listed in the credits as the mystery guest star.
There is our mystery guest, starring as the Reaper.
It's Sir Alec Guinness's last official role. However, his parts, his two cameos, were filmed 10 years before he did a good turn for a starting director.
I believe unpaid.
Yes. And the footage was saved for his movie project, for this movie project. And when they finally got it done, they spliced in this.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It was kept for 10 years
Bloody
until...
hell.
Yeah, basically, Waller comes across Alec Guinness in, I believe, Berlin and talks him into filming the footage.
These are the snuff films you're looking for.
So you could say it's an old footage. It's old footage, but it's marked. Oh no! Oh dear. Anyway, yes. So Kanji, like, he's just reacting to the director in this scene.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's seamless. It doesn't look like it's shot like on a different quality footage. It doesn't look awkward. It fits in wonderfully.
I agree. I had no idea the amount of time that had been sat on a shelf or wherever it was. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So it's just one of these interesting oddities in the film that stands out. This film was well received. I hope to make the case for it. And Anthony Waller, as tends to happen, you make your sort of interesting debut feature and they hand you a bit of a studio genre piece to see how you handle it. He was handed An American Werewolf in Paris, which I have seen, but I can't say it stuck with me. I recall it having some wonderful...
The movie's okay. The soundtrack slaps.
Oh, the only thing that sticks in my mind is footage of a guy nailed to a cross but legging it, while still carrying the cross. I just thought, I remember that looking quite epic, and I remember basically nothing else from the film. But I did see it when I was about 12, so yeah. After that, he did get a fair bit of work. He then had a massive break, and so from sticking mostly in the realm of horror, but he went quiet for ages after like 2009, and then suddenly pops up again last year
Yeah,
for the new film.
Yeah, just looking at his wiki, and I just saw that.
Yep, heading back to Russia, we will note. Very interesting, very interesting. So yes,
one of the fun bits of trivia was, in order to get the final film stock out, they had to bribe Russian security.
No way.
imagine my
They had
shock.
to factor that into the budget and had to bribe the officials to get it out of the country.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how surprised my face is looking right now.
I mean, I wouldn't exactly say it's flattering to Russia, but I don't think that makes a difference. I think they probably would have had to pay the bribe anyway.
Yeah, post-Soviet Russia. Gee, imagine having to bribe somebody to get something done.
I just want to. Oh, sorry, I'm going to derail this very, very briefly. But I've just seen that Just Stop Oil co-founder Roger Hallam has been jailed for 5 years and 4 other activists for 4 years over plots to block the M25 motorway that saw over 50,000 hours of vehicle delay. You know what?
Chat, I'm gonna need a FAFO in the chat if you don't mind, folks.
Yeah.
Fool around, find out. Couldn't happen to a nicer man. Oh, you love to see it.
Oh dear.
Good
Someone
times.
I know. Someone I know just said no prison for protest. Sign here. Nah, you're all right.
Nah, you're okay, mate.
No, Just Stop Oil became terrorists in my book when they vandalised the Stonehenge. So
Stonehenge, and tried to do it to the Mona Lisa.
Yep. Fun fact, if you're a member to the channel, you can find a somewhat spicy video I made about Just Stop Oil's protests from way back in the day, called, I think, The Meta-politics of Non-Violent Protests. If you're interested, it's an old bonus one for members back in the archives. Harrian's going to have a video about that, isn't he? He loves a bit of Roger Hallam bait.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. Watch out for our boy Harrian.
I think he made like a 30-minute video today about a 2-minute video that Nigel Farage had done with that Emily Mathelis or whatever her name is. Oh my god. Not
Emily Maitlis.
Not on. Yeah, that's it. Not oh my god at Harrian, but oh my god, she's like one of the top journalists in Britain for the BBC, and that interview was shocking. She basically did the equivalent of, right, picture this, right? You heard your mate's been shot, right? Or, you know, he's extremely ill. So you want to be there for him, okay? And then as you're about to turn up, while you're there, you go outside for 5 minutes to catch your breath, maybe phone somebody to get an update, and all of a sudden you see a random person who recognizes you, and they walk up to you and they say, "Shouldn't you be at work right now?"
You know the soy jack of the guy like in Walmart grabbing you, like, you know that? I'm picturing her as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a bit, you know.
As Harrian said, it was the second worst interview he's seen since what's her face interview.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Peterson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I haven't seen it.
Kathy Newman.
I haven't seen it, but I will have to check that out.
It's bad. It's just bad. She's like, I'm not going to say anything. Just go and watch it. I mean, you just expect, you know, we shouldn't be surprised by now, but we expect better.
There we go. Go and watch Harrian's and say proper sent you.
Yeah.
All right. So is anyone super keen to do the Pint of Guinness summary, or if not, I can go for it? I realise I sort of offloaded.
I'll say you haven't done one for ages.
Well, yeah, I like to offload it. It's really difficult.
See, chat. The first rule of management is delegation.
Let me see if I can find that actual pint of Guinness being poured.
And as I've been here for more episodes than Murgu, the second rule of management is that the senior person gets to also delegate. So Murgu, take it away.
Oh boy. Okay. It opens on the set of a slasher flick being filmed, and you don't realize it at first. You watch a woman getting ready to go to a party with her boyfriend, and somebody breaks into her house, and the kitchen's across from the restroom, and she flips the mirror and shows him hiding
I
in the
love that.
kitchen with a knife.
Hmm.
And then he ends up stabbing her, and she starts wandering around the house screaming while he gets out of the way. And in her death throes, she starts pulling everything off, and you see him sit down in the corner.
I feel we should specify pulling everything down on the set, not
Mhm.
stripping.
Well, no, you don't understand it at first. He sits down to watch her death throes while she's pulling everything off the table and knocking the walls off. While he's sitting there, someone nudges him, and two people are sitting there watching, and then somebody offers a flask or a book, and he takes it up, and then you realize you're on a movie set, and it keeps going and going and going, and everybody's sitting there just quietly laughing. And the final death scene, and then it centers on what's
Character
the
name?
last name? It centers
Hughes?
on Billy and her
Billy Hughes?
sister signing back and forth, and you realize something's up with Billy. And you realize that they're having communication problems because half the cast is Russian, half the cast is English, and they're arguing back and forth, and the film runs out, and they want to do one more shot, and somebody interrupts them, tells them, get off the set, you had it reserved for the day, but we have one last shot. So they start leaving, and Billy, our protagonist, runs back in because she's forgotten the mask that she wants to work on, and gets locked in and witnesses what she thinks is an adult film being shot. And then she watches the man stab the adult film actress several times until dead. And she backs out. And it's a chase around the building. And she gets into the elevator shaft with a key. And then she's climbing around the elevator shaft, and they throw the body into the base pit of the shaft. She manages to get word out to her sister by Morse code on the telephone receiver. She can hear, but she can't speak or scream, and gets the police involved. And
If I can just pause you there, that moment when she calls her sister, I did fear it was going to go into a kind of stupid thing where she'd, like, I don't know, gasp at the phone. Like, literally, I thought, what is she going to do with the phone? She's mute. And then they immediately showed the tapping thing, and I thought, oh,
You mean Morse
cool.
code?
And
yeah,
Morse
The tapping thing.
Yeah, I thought that was cool and interesting. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
nice.
At this point, the director,
Yeah.
her Billy's sister's boyfriend, cooking food and not really caring. I just really, I was hoping something would happen to him by the end. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
He is the comic relief. He is extremely soy, you know.
But she chases around the building, and they find her, and she gets rescued by her sister and the director, and the police come in, and oh no, there's no body, and go home. They go home to their various apartments, and the two mobsters who filmed the snuff film come and ransack her room. One of them's one of the best comedic death scenes I've seen. Is he's beating on the door trying to break through with the knife and reaches his hand through, and she swats him with the toilet brush. He comes running towards the door. She just opens it. He falls in, hits his head on the bathroom wall, falls into the bathtub. She turns on the hairdryer and throws it into the tub and electrocutes him. That's one
Very
of the
creative.
funniest
creative
death
indeed.
scenes I've seen. And then police sergeant or undercover detective Larson comes and rescues her. And while they're getting out of the building, two police officers / hitmen come in and take care of the remaining mafia guy. And then the sister and her boyfriend show up, and antics ensue.
I feel a need to ask, does anyone else look at the secondary assassin and just think, discount Jude Law?
Yeah.
No,
I was thinking of someone else. I'm trying. Oh my god, The Mask. Oh god, what's his name? Bloody
Jim Carrey?
No. The one who plays the antagonist.
Oh
god, what's his name?
Now I have to look it up.
Yeah, same here.
No, I don't remember. Was he an English guy?
No, American. I'm sure he was.
Oh, young Putin.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You mean Zelensky? Peter Green, Dorian. You played Dorian.
Thank you,
Peter Green.
Peter
I was thinking.
I can't picture it.
I'm gonna send you a picture.
All right.
Let me go.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt with just the look-alike, but I thought I'd be puerile.
Here we go. I've sent you a link in the chat.
All right. Let's see how we're doing on that. Oh god, there's like 4K. Oh yeah. Oh god, wait, this guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Pulp Fiction. He was a creepy guy, wasn't he? He was Zed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, dude's a good villain. I won't get that up on screen, but yeah, good stuff. All right. Sorry, yes. Corrupt policemen come in. Have you explained why they come in? Like, what's this network of policemen being all creepy?
Well, the Reaper shows up and addresses them to get rid of the problem. Were there no problems? No problem, just the girl. She won't be able to say anything, and we'll take care of it. He sends the corrupt cops up there.
Yes, incredibly well connected chap in charge of this snoof movie production.
Yeah.
The director is klutz. He keeps fouling up, but the sister ends up bashing one of the guys. He turns around and accidentally shoots his partner, and they start beating up the other guy. And hold on. Damn computer.
No worries, man. No worries. It's all good.
I just got an alert and it's like, oh, there's a problem. Oh, there's no problem.
False alarm.
Yeah, having a normal one. Good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say Patrick Batman's got the quote here. Did it go
Yes.
smoothly? Now,
Yes.
I
Smooth.
don't know if you got this vibe, but I heard that and I immediately thought of Marathon Man and Laurence
Oh.
Olivier with "Is It Safe?"
I'm not familiar with that. Marathon Man.
Marathon Man,
Old
great
movie.
movie, really good movie.
Dustin Hoffman, Sir Laurence Olivier.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, great little film. Very tense indeed. There's just an amazing interrogation scene where Laurence Olivier just asks over and over again, "Is it safe?" And I just sort of got that vibe, like they were going for that as well, and it had a similar sort of nice iconic feel. Patrick is agreeing with me. Good. It's not a reach. It's confirmed, not a reach.
Yeah. Anyway, they dispatched the corrupt cops somewhat incompetently, but they get the job done. Billy's rushed off by Larson, correct?
Yep. He's
Mhm.
rushed off. Where are you going? No, not where are you going, because they're looking for a diskette, aren't they?
Mhm.
That's the whole
Yeah.
point. Presumably they've got, like I think you said it. Presumably they've got the old snuff film on one of these old discs.
Well, it's also the information on the connections that Detective Larson has been researching
To be
on
fair,
the human traffickers.
that's probably more the case, yeah. And because he's getting her to, he was like, where is the diskette? And because she thinks he's taking her to a police station. What does she writes down something. Oh, that's right, yeah, because they drive past the police station. She whips out the notepad and pen, starts to write down like police, like she's sort of like pointing to the police station. He's like, yeah, we need to get the disc first. We need to get the diskette first. Where is it? And then she was like, nah, not having this. And then she just like go. Then she
hammers on him and he pulls the car over and she handcuffs him to the wheel.
That's right. That's right. I mean, this film, man, I'll tell you now that this film, it should have had like the subheader of fake outs.
Yeah.
Because my God, I really felt like they didn't know what they were doing with Larson. Because I felt like even at the very end, he could have done one more fake out. But
the radio in the car, hearing the other mobsters and the other corrupt cops, it's where is she? What's she doing? And she freaks out and pummels on him. And
his excuse is, "Oh, I work undercover, and so that freaks her out." But then he runs over the other. He runs over one of the thugs, convinces Billy to get in the car. Then they go off to the studio. They find the diskette. One of like the lead sort of thugs that were there turn up and like put her in a sort of like a chokehold. And then he then turns again. He gets the old gun, sort of flips it to knock her out. But then, oh my God, he knocked him out instead. It's oh my God,
it's the baby face turn.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then it's and then the next bit is we're going to take her outside and shoot her. And then that happens, and it's like actually, guys,
I can't show it. Like it's impressively bloody, but I'll never get away with the screenshots on
sister and the
YouTube,
boyfriend come and try and rescue her and get into a fight.
That's right. And then it's another fake out. Oh my gosh, he's actually a good guy after all.
It's all the mobsters leave. You see another appearance of the Reaper, Sir Alec Guinness. And after he shoots Billy in the back and the mobsters leave, she starts smiling. Billy starts smiling. And Larson after getting pummeled by the sister, opens up the door and shows her, and Billy gets up and she's got one of the special effects squib jackets under her coat. the blood pack.
Mm-hmm.
And
Was impressive.
then Larson gets in the car with the two guys he's captured, and Billy sees something wrong in the expressions of the two mobsters that he's captured, and has her sister tell Larson to get out of the car. He gets out of the car just as it explodes and fade to black.
Boom.
It's an odd additional thing to put in there. I mean, I really don't know why that was in there, to be honest.
What, the
Cost them a bit of
explosion?
money. Yeah, it cost them a bit of money to blow a car up. But again, it's another fake out because the guy.
Yeah. Oh no, he
guy
didn't make it.
what?
Oh no, he's alive. He's smiling. He's fine.
And then the movie just ends.
Yeah.
So it's an odd choice. It's an odd choice, but yeah, that is your journey of mute witness as we go over. Now, why on earth am I calling this a gem? Like, do you think I'm over-egging it, guys?
I wasn't really feeling it to begin with, but it did very much warm to me as the film progressed. So I don't think so. I don't think so.
That's cool. That's cool. I thought it had a very interesting structure. You know, it's really so much of the film is that chase sequence around the studio.
Yeah, I thought it might just be that.
I think if it were done today, there would be a real temptation to make basically the whole movie that sequence. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about something like home invasion movies, they are kind of like that, or that film set in the parking lot called, I want to say P2, or I think it's called P2, which really is just someone pursued around a giant parking lot. And I think that's the whole movie, you know.
Yeah.
They can do it. When they'd reached, I mean, I timed it, I think it's 15 minutes. That is that whole sequence, which in a 94-minute movie, it's pretty substantial.
Oh yeah, they've got loads of
Well,
it.
I love the Billy's in her apartment. She gets out of the bath. She's trying to get a hold of people. But she gets out of the first bath and she sees the peeping Tom, and it's one of the mobsters, and she closes the curtains, and then the attack happens. While they're chasing her around the apartment, she opens the curtains and flashes the guy, and of course his curtains are closed at that point. And I was just laughing at that red herring.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that the humor in this film is even weirdly, given that it's around snuff movies, it is weirdly happy to have quite a lot of humor in.
Well, it pokes fun at the tropes. It still uses them, but it definitely pokes fun at them.
Well, yeah, it does that dangerous thing of we'll show you how to do the thing badly, which is kind of putting pressure on it. Then you've got to do the good version, you know?
Yeah.
And I think we all recognize the bad slasher scene that they start with.
Oh, God.
Which is like, I was kind of enjoying
when
it.
the cops are looking at the photographic evidence of the snuff film, and it turns out to be that death scene. And
yeah, where is it? I've got this photo.
All the cops, the ambassador's aide, the filmographer are all just sitting there laughing at the death scene. You're just going, oh boy.
Again, this might be a ridiculous reach, but with the casting of this, like this guy here is a minor character. I want to throw this out for you guys. Maybe I'll get a picture up. I think these guys are chosen to look like Siskel and Ebert.
Man, that's a reference that goes straight over my head. I don't know.
All right, hang on. I'm going to pull this up. Am I wrong? I'm gonna try and get a photo of these two guys to get. Yeah, okay, I've got it. I am 100% right on this, folks. I am not into. I am not crazy. I am not a number. Right. We're gonna go back and forth. Right? Huh? Huh?
Okay,
Right? Right?
okay. I see it. I
Come
I
on.
take it they're film critics then.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Sorry, they're film critics. They're famous
In fact-
for the 2 thumbs up. They also have a fairly low opinion on horror movies generally.
Well, it's interesting you say that. Just to support your theory even further, you do actually get like a little, very quick review afterwards. After he speaks to what's his bloody name? Is it Evan? No, Andy. When they speak to Andy on the phone, and he's like, "Yeah, it's the fakest piece of S that they've ever seen."
Yes.
So they did review the film.
They did. The NREAB has picked it up. Yes, the opening passage scene. I don't know if it was a direct reference, and yes, you correct it later. It's Scream 2. Yes, the brilliant thing of we'll show you it badly, and the stab opening sequence that's shown in Scream 2 that they just reuse over and over. Sadly, they didn't shoot a lot more of it. You have to wait until I think Scream 5 to see more footage from the original stab movie.
Talking about
but it does stand out.
Talking about the opening scene, how quickly did you lot realise that it was a film shoot? They were filming for a scene.
About 30 seconds into it.
Yeah, I'm normally not really clever at this sort of stuff, but I was like, yeah, this is fake. Not fake, but you know, this is they're gonna fake. They're gonna do a fake out. They're gonna do a fake out.
Yeah, it was nicely dragged out though. Like usually, I would kind of expect like the smash cut, the crew, like I feel like how
cut. Yeah,
that's how you usually do that reveal. Whereas this one, I think, kind of uniquely. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. Let me know if I'm missing something. But this one let it get slowly more absurd, and you realize, and then you start to realize it's not like the killer's got an accomplice. You slowly realize, oh, hang on, no, they're all staff.
Yeah,
and then the actress just dragging it out. I loved it. It got funnier and funnier.
It was just ridiculous. It wasn't. Yeah, you talk about the sort of like abrupt cuts, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's a film scene being filmed.
Yeah.
My mind instantly takes me to that scene in Mortal Kombat when you're first introduced to Johnny Cage. I don't know if you've seen
the 1995
Paul
W.S. Anderson classic.
That is a classic 12 out of 12 burgers film.
Oh, it's so much fun.
This is the part where you fall down.
The Christopher Lambert is still the best part of the entirety of Mortal Kombat. But no, I like the scene after the death scene is finished, and Billy's showing the thug with her sister as an interpreter how to use the prop knife and the blood bag, and I knew immediately that was going to be used later, and it was when it was to set up the alibi for the two thugs. When he reaches out and stabs Andy over and over and over again, I didn't think they'd quit. And then Andy's just standing there shaking. I'm whole.
YouTube might not like this thumbnail, but we will assure you that we're shown this is all fake. We're maybe a bit used to it now, but let's just say it. This is the basics done right. It's a setup and payoff with a subsequent later payoff. It's an interesting use of the world that we're in. That is to say, it's doing some horror film commentary, and we'll talk a little more about that. But when it spends time establishing how the effects work, it then gets to make use of the special effects as an alibi. It gets to use them here as a kind of jump scare, and then it gets to bring it in at the end. Like, they don't put that in frivolously. They get a lot of use out of that concept. Although we really do have to note here that, bless him, he's getting a lot of airtime even though he isn't on this stream. I saw this and I thought of Harrion.
I saw
he
how they were using all the horror movie props and the effects. And what I was thinking of was 1986's FX with Brian Brown. How
Okay.
he helps unframe himself by using his FX magic to freak everybody out.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I wasn't going to go there. I was going to say it's. I just thought of Harrion freaking out over a guy deciding with police there that I'm just going to do a fake stabbing. Even though realistically he should have been shot in the back immediately.
Yeah.
Harrion would have, blessed him. He'd have been there saying, this was R-worded.
Yeah, there are a couple of scenes in this, but do you know what? I think it can be forgiven because of the sort of goofy nature of it. Like, for example, the scene when one of the Russian dudes was trying to, broke into the apartment of Billy's apartment. And then later on, you find out that the Peter Green lookalike it comes in and he's there, but then you don't really see him again until after the geezer's been toasted, and then he just comes along and collects her out of the blue, and it's kind of like, you could have helped out beforehand, like you could have done something, but then it kind of speaks to his character a bit later on when they find was it Karen and Andy come across him, and they just bolt into the bedroom, start barricading it and whatnot, and then he just goes and sits down and sparks up a cigarette. And he's just sort of whatever. They just sort of let him get on with it.
I like that. Like, he knew he'd had to deal with the Reaper. He knew that it was messed up, and he just thought, you know what, I'm going to be done. So when the cops turn up, he just goes full Russian and is just he doesn't have some kind of I really do view it as like a Russian reaction.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, I guess time is done. I've got time for a smoke. These cops are corrupt. They're gonna kill me. Screw it. I'm gonna relax.
One scene that did kind of hurt for me was when the night watchman goes downstairs with his Airedale Terrier.
Oh yeah, the doggo.
And finds the boiler open and finds the skull, and the Airedale wanders off, and you just hear the thud. And then he trips over himself, and that was... Killing the dog was unnecessary.
Yeah, and the thing is, he wouldn't have gone down there had he not been looking for his dog. So it just seems a bit... his death was a bit redundant. Also, it was a bit silly that they would go straight to the old unaliving again so soon after getting that close shave with the authorities.
Yeah,
it was a bit silly, but I suppose the film kind of demanded it in a way.
I don't know. I feel like they'd gotten away with it, and
they got away with it. Do you know what I would have loved? Right, I would have absolutely loved it. The ultimate fake out of this film is if it was just one big misunderstanding. And that the Russians weren't actually going around like that. There was a group or an organized crime ring of people smuggling women into the country to make these films and to to snuff them and to sell the videos to the highest bidder. But these guys weren't them, and it was just one big no, we're making a film, guys, an actual film.
They really were hard workers.
That would have been I would have loved that.
I mean, let's move on to that scene, because I think this is it almost stands out in a film that is quite happy to lean on the comedy. it does have the period where it is very intense on trying to genuinely be scary.
Mm-hmm.
And this stands out to me. I think this is very interesting stuff, very well done. Some of the choices in this, like the fact that the mask is very similar to the mask in the horror film, which very much has the fake horror film segment. The fact that it's the same guy who plays the killer.
Same mask. He grabbed it for the shoot. It's the mask that Billy was looking for.
Yeah. Oh yes, excellent. It's a nice touch, but the fact that it has this blank expression, I really find quite interesting. It's obviously, you think of Michael Myers a lot with the blank face, but I think it's a bit more than that, about how close it is to the guy's actual face, which thematically is quite important. We will get onto that later, but just for the effectiveness of this scene, I can't actually show much because the film's quite graphic of him rodding her. It doesn't shy away from showing that, but when it turns to horror, it does, I think, aim to actually horrify. So
Yeah.
I want to get your guys' reactions on that.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that, because there are a couple of there are a few times in this film where the direction and tone changes, and in fact, Lisa in the chat for the second point, she mentions it. It does take a left turn, and it's sort of like almost like steers course again back into the comedic sort of tone of it. But yeah, like this scene, the bits prior to the Russian getting into Billy's apartment as well were kind of, quite serious, and almost, like the bit when she's phoning through to the emergency services and she's using that text to speech device. This is Billy. I didn't say Billie Eilish then. But that bit there, it's already difficult enough when you're in a foreign land, when you speak, you don't speak the native language and you're trying to phone through to the emergency services. And the best that the woman can do on the other line is speak broken English. And then you're getting that really terrible Windows 95-esque, voice device, speaking to you. Like, communication was just, like, it was actually quite, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, Jesus, if I was deaf, or I know she's not deaf, but if I was unable to use the phone and I had to, like, communicate through, like, a device, and I was in a situation like that, like, Jesus, that would be terrifying.
We got the rules of that. This is film is really good at communicating the rules.
Absolutely,
and that made it tense. I mean, something we should just get in now, because this is very relevant to that scene. So this film's called Mute Witness, and the big limitation of the character is that she's mute. Only a few people can understand her, but it's made a lot more interesting by the fact that they moved to Russia. Now, this wasn't originally the case. Originally, it was going to be set in America. So I assume that additional language barrier was not there, that Anthony Waller rewrote the script when he was moving to Russia. Presumably, it's going to cost too much to try and make Russia look like America. So screw it. We're going to just make it very much a sort of, the film reflects reality. We'll literally show that we are making it a horror film in Russia as we make a horror film in Russia. But when they do that, you get this sort of added layer of muteness. Like, suddenly a bunch of other characters, because of the language barrier, find themselves unable to communicate.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, that's a bit tasty. That's a bit interesting.
It actually is. Yeah, definitely. And I've said it in the chat, but I'll say it here as well. Billy Hughes, perfect woman.
I mean, yeah, let's not be shy about this. She's absolutely gorgeous, isn't she? Do I ever...
Yeah, she
No,
was.
that's a bit too depressing. Let's find a nice one of her.
Interesting fact, she didn't speak English. They had to go through interpreters to get her to do all the blocking
Mm.
and all the acting.
I kind of
Honestly.
wasn't talking about the appearance, but okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought you were being a lech.
No.
You're just a good old chauvinist.
I'm joking, of course, but no, she.
Patrick Batman. Yeah, the phone voice is the same one used. It
Yeah.
is the Windows
This is
95
just-
text to speech.
This
And
is-
Faith, I haven't played it, but I did watch Wendigoon's 2.5 hour breakdown of it, and it does look pretty good for an 8-bit game.
Mm. But yeah, no. In all seriousness, though, her character, her character, Billy's character, I really, really liked her. I mean, for a start, I mean, she's quite wholesome. She does seem quite a wholesome character, very, very sort of nice personality and all that jazz. And yeah, just that inability to communicate verbally added such a decent dynamic to it. It's a really interesting dynamic, I should say. Sorry, to her character, which showcased the limitations, and then just plopping them into a foreign country where English isn't. And what I found interesting, initially it annoyed me at first, but after a little while, I kind of realised that actually this is quite important. That, for my version, at least, for the record, I bought this off Amazon, but there are no Russian subtitles that translate into English. So there are large parts of this film where if you don't speak Russian, you don't understand what's going on, which kind of also, which in a way sort of puts you in the shoes of someone trying to communicate with Billy, or Billy trying to communicate with someone else. Because, like you say, there's only a few people, and a small number of people that can communicate with her. Her sister, I'm pretty sure it's her sister, being one of them. And that's really it.
It's a little meta-textual. We like it.
Yeah.
We like it. You know, it's similar. Think of this as a reflection almost of there's a really good movie called Hush, made by Mike Flanagan before he found and started repeatedly expressing his political inclinations. But Hush is really, really good. That is a film with a deaf protagonist, and in that they make the most of that premise.
Right.
You know, sort of putting you in her head by cutting the sound out for lots of it. Really great film, really good. And this, it has to do it slightly differently, but it does manage to put you in her shoes a fair bit more. So
yeah,
and also she's so likable. She's
that's
so
it. Yeah,
likable.
she's very for someone who doesn't actually have a speaking word in this film, like she was perhaps one of the strongest characters. I'm not talking physically or anything like that. I'm literally she's one of the standout characters of this film. And again, I think mostly it's down to that inhibition, that inability to talk, that inability to communicate. It just added such an interesting dynamic to the film, which made it it's quite comedic in its approach, but when it mattered, it made it that more tense, that more believable.
Oh, totally. I got this scene up when you were saying that, just because this is what I thought of. Again, sorry for repeating it, but the film really is great at letting you understand the rules in a very natural way and believable way. They make it clear, look, she can hear, but she cannot speak. She cannot make a sound.
That's right.
And so you have this scene where she's being pinned down by one of the killers. Her sister's there, and she's not able to communicate with the signing. Like, you understand the rules, so you're like, oh, wait, crap. If she doesn't convince her sister wordlessly, with no way of communicating with sign, she's going to get offed. And it's just done so well. Really good communication, really interesting. I love this scene in particular. I thought that was so great. And we managed
Yeah,
to say
I agree.
all that praise for her without mentioning the absolutely gratuitous nudity. That is,
Yeah,
90s was a different time, guys. You know,
man, I did find it funny again. Like there's just a little setup and payoffs, like
yeah.
like almost, you know, like the punchlines of this film. They're brilliant. Like that
Mm.
scene when, you know, she sees that creeper like through the window, and then she shuts the curtains, and then later on, like she's that desperate to get help. She, you know, she's trying to wave him down, like even to the point where she like just whips out her baps to the window, and it's just like brilliant.
Good
Because she
time.
can't scream, and so he's just like, oh, whatever.
And the old couple down in the bedroom beneath.
Oh
her
yeah, of
apartment,
course,
just
yeah,
beating on the ceiling every
yeah.
time.
And then she
a lot
starts like
of noise
stomping on the
happens.
ground as well. Like maybe he'll come up, bang, 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 bang.
He comes upstairs, and
Far
Billy's
too late,
sister
yeah.
and the director's
Mm.
standing there with the gun in hand, and no, we're not going to hurt you.
Yeah. It's, I mean, again, it's like the film has gone through quite a tonal shift again at that point, because just as you said, the actual break into her apartment I find is quite chilling and
Yeah.
effective and scary. And once she's offed the guy in an almost sort of Sean Connery, James Bond style,
She's
after that,
almost
it just becomes
accurate
funnier and
with those
funnier.
knives. She's devastating with those knives.
Oh yes, if only the guy were like a piano, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they do land. She just never at him. Gosh, yeah. So totally interesting, but yeah, I just want to drag us back to like the scene where we go into the murder. I do think it for me it was very successful in actually becoming genuinely unpleasant, genuinely quite nasty to watch. Margaret,
yeah.
like, did you find it affecting as well?
Yeah, it was rather off-putting. It was like, oh, that's brutal.
I'm kind of reminded of when we covered 8mm, and in that, all you get are Nicolas Cage's reactions to the footage. Whereas this, they actually show us quite a lot, and I do find very effective.
Well, they show Billy being amused and her sneaking around the set, and she's kind of titillated. And then the goon ties up the actress's hands, starts slapping her, beating her, and then the look on Billy's face when she sees the knife, he picks up the knife and starts stabbing her, and she realizes this isn't just a adult film shoot. This is far, far worse.
Yeah. I found it effective. The only thing that kind of wrecked it for me, I've got to be honest, is the sound effects.
Yeah.
Like she got, unfortunately, they are now very dated. They're very cliche to the point that it does become a little hard to take it seriously, even in a very good, effective scene. If you don't know what I'm talking about, folks, I don't think I can play it, but you get the dun dun dun.
Oh yeah.
And they play that sound effect a couple of times. It's the very cliche one. The shocking thing is happening. We're going to zoom and go dun dun dun. You know, it was weird. Oh my gosh, Patrick Batman. This is a very good summary of a lot of the film. But so her reaction, I think, is maybe a good way to move into some of the meta-textual discussion. And you can tell me if I'm totally reaching here. I will, leave it to your discretion. But I found it very interesting that she comes down, she sees some prawn being made, and her reaction is a sort of a giggle, like, oh, you guys.
Yeah.
And then she does get to be horrified. And again,
Yes,
good
yes,
writing.
yes.
The fact that she's mute, of course, she doesn't say anything. She's kind of used to. She just can't. So yeah, it's natural. Whereas, and if they had not given her that disability, you would have to explain why she says nothing. So again, making use of the premise very well. But I wonder if the film was trying to say anything in a kind of funny game style about the fact that, how can I say, about the fact that she has one reaction to the prawn, and like she's okay with the prawn, and then she is like, oh, serious business when it comes to the snuff. I wonder if the director is trying to point out a kind of continuity, right?
Elaborate.
Just
Okay.
that sliding scale from just
Why is the prawn okay?
debauchery to degeneracy.
Yes. Now, there was a quote I sent you guys because this stood out to me. This was a quote that they gave to the director who, tell you what, we'll get him up because he's been constantly humiliated. Like, they mock this guy relentlessly. Can you see him now?
Yeah.
Like, they put him at this weird angle. They make him crouch. He's cooking, which already some people would say is emasculating, mostly because of the cramped conditions, obviously. If he was, Vincent Price in his custom kitchen, it would be Chad as heck. But they put him in an old, homely kind of apron to mock him. They give this guy the line, got it. Okay, this is a start of the film when the actress has done a really bad, overdone take, really gone over the top and ruined it. He says to her, this isn't Chekhov. You're not the star. You're just another victim. You get stabbed, you die. I want to see pain. I want to see the blood spurt. Billy, where's the blood? I want to see her bleed to death. I think you can make the case that there is a continuity here, that this film is kind of saying, like, are we healthy? Like, obviously no one is dying for real, but do we have this same impulse in an unhealthy way as the people who are paying for the snuff product? This is a point very much made by Funny Games 2 years later. I just thought I'd throw it out there, like maybe a bit of a zeitgeist here. Bit of a zeitgeist. What do you guys think? Regardless of your own positions, do you think the film is making that point?
Maybe. I don't know. It's almost too much of a comedy to do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I wouldn't look at it beyond the. I wouldn't look at it beyond the fact that he's just playing comedic relief, and it wasn't exactly out of the norm to have male sort of characters sort of play goofy sort of roles. I mean, I suppose the biggest one that sort of springs to mind for me is Homer Simpson, of course. But I think they do it in a way. I mean, it's different. As I say, I suppose it's different than compared to nowadays. Because I mean, nowadays, I don't think many writers have the ability to write a comedic character without outright humiliating them in a serious way. With this though, it's quite evident that excuse me, that he is just a bit of a.
I was totally fine with that. I liked how terrible he was.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way it's written. It almost felt kind of natural, but it wasn't. But it wasn't like trying to say something. It was just, this is this guy. This is how we've written him. Like, don't read into it. It's just a thing. I mean, look at the wider nature of the film. I mean, even his sister, even Karen, the Faye Ripley's character, when they sort of, they're not shown to be, I would say, overly competent an overly competent couple in important scenes. But again, it fits. You know, like when they go to the studio towards the end of the film, it's quite evident that they're not trained in any sense of the word.
They're absolutely terrible. Like they're competent in their spheres. Well, maybe not him, but she's very competent in her sphere, which is lovely. We wouldn't really expect them to be fighters, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But it was quite funny watching an American not be able to work a shooty bang bang. That I couldn't, you know.
He trips and
that's right, and drops all around. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And what about the sort of critique of horror angle? Do you think there's any of that in the film? Like the fact that they have like the snuff, the bad horror, and the real horror all sort of take place on the same set.
I don't know.
Not so much criticism as just poking fun at the whole process.
Yeah. I don't think, you know, it's not like Scream, for example, which was a massive critique on horror as a genre. But this just felt like, you know, like it just felt like one of those films where, you know, where you have a film within a film and the actors who are within the film universe and are acting out a scene for the fictional film are like almost like just terrible. It kind of felt like it was just that, you know, we need to make it obvious that this isn't we need to make it obvious that this isn't a scene in an actual film. It's a scene for a film that the film is showing. We need to show that it's bad. I mean, the opening scene with that woman when she's been stabbed a couple of times, and then she's just like going around the house, like smashing it all up, being like completely over dramatic.
So do you think it sounds like you're making the counterpoint. The film shows you what a horror film looks like and then shows you a snuff film. It's like as if to say, yeah, you cannot confuse these two things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we need to make them the polar opposites to make them discernible from each other.
That's a fair comment.
Yeah.
Interpretation.
I don't think what's his name? Who was the guy who directed this again? What's his name?
Anthony Waller.
I don't think he was trying to say something about horror though as a genre. I think it was just
her death scene reminded me of Paul Rubens' death scene in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes. Good times. Yeah, I think we would maybe be surprised if the director were to take an extremely horror is awful and corrupting take and then make another 5 horror films. But I thought I would offer that. You know, we like to do a little reaching, we like to do a little interpreting on the stream. We give you that value added stuff. We have to, because most of my research books don't talk about this movie. As I say,
oh wow,
underrated gems.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was sort of the bulk of what I had for this. I thought it was very stylish. I liked how kind of minimalistic it was. That it really is it's so condensed into just quick setup of the scenario and then the long escape sequence. And then the home invasion, and then just the fake out. Like, it's plot-wise, I found it really quite good at keeping to what it needed to. I liked that. I thought that was very efficient.
Yeah.
Was there anything you guys want? Sorry, I cut you off there, TCG.
No. I was going to say that character Larson, man. I mean, this will probably go over the heads of many people who don't watch wrestling, but he had more sort of face and heel turns than the Big Show in this movie. It was just, it was quite interesting to see like them. It was impossible to sort of pin him down as to, you know, whether he was actually good or actually bad. I felt anyway. Only when it was only right at the very end that it became pretty obvious. But I mean, it literally did take him pistol whipping some bad guy to be like, okay.
Finally sold it, but yeah. Well, no, it did keep me guessing. And again, see, I don't want to do any spoilers, TCG, but if there's sort of a similar thing in Marathon Man, where you are very much kept guessing as to a character's loyalty, and I'll just rely on. I know some people had said they recognised Marathon Man, so you can probably work out the bit I'm referring to. I just sort of get the vibe that Waller was inspired by that and wanted to build that into the character, and I quite liked it, to be honest. Yeah, the NREAB is saying it's a bit of an homage to Hitchcock. Yeah. Dial M for Murder comes to mind in terms of someone a bit unreliable or someone you doubt the loyalty of. Or Vertigo as well. Central character who you doubt the loyalty of. Some of the plot contrivances are a bit dated for modern audiences, but it still works. Yeah, I think the first sort of fake out demonstrating the old movie knife on a guy with cops there was
I know.
But and I suppose the her using squibs to fake being shot to death is also maybe kind of a cliche, but in this film I think it worked well and it was very grounded. They'd set it up very well.
Actually, the NREAB's comment there does kind of ring true, because I did feel like at that opening scene in particular, it felt like it was very not dated. I wouldn't say dated, but no, actually, I probably would say dated, but in the respect that it looked like it was themed around sort of like the 50s, 60s. And I know you had a bit of an issue with the whole dun, 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 sort of like close-ups and things like that.
Yes.
But it felt very sort of reminiscent of a time where that was the norm in horror. And I didn't have a problem with that personally. I didn't mind it. If anything, it was seeing the horror films that you've shown me to, I see that now and I'm like, oh, okay. A bit of a throwback there. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's something that genuinely is just, it was a style at the time.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
now 30 years later, we're like, oh God, something's become a bit of a meme.
Yeah.
And it's not really the film's fault.
No, but it was quite nice. It was quite interesting to see that blend of that classical horror style sort of mixed in with what would have been modern at the time. I mean, the blood effects in this film, brilliant. And again, I'll go back to the opening scene. The way that the woman in that scene is killed is very sort of like, knife off camera. You don't really see the thing happening.
Yeah.
But excuse me. But when she finds her husband in the closet or whatever, I mean, he's brutalized, and that's not something that you would have seen in a film like, not even in a film like Psycho. Let's say, if we're talking Hitchcock films,
not.
It would have been very much, button tie, not a mark on him or a scratch. He just would have fallen to the floor, like he'd had too much to drink, basically. But yeah, I mean, it was. I did struggle to think like when he would have had the opportunity to do that, but yeah, I forgive it.
It's
I was like,
wacky horror movie.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, I quite like to see that blend, and I wish they did it more. I kind of wish they did it a bit more, especially these days. I mean, as I say, the writers these days have got no bloody original ideas themselves. I mean, there's plenty of source material they can go back and reference for the memes and for the soy faces, like or the old Leo DiCaprio gifs where
Which one? Or is that like Strolling Leo?
No, when he from I can't remember the bloody
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, Wolf of Wall Street, when he's sitting in the armchair,
yeah,
and he sees something on the TV and he's like
yeah.
Yeah, you know which one, Mergu.
Yeah, I can picture it.
Django Unchained.
I mean, Leo's a bit of a meme machine, isn't he? Yeah. Oh gosh, it's let's just throw something else in here as well. The Russian setting, it makes it interesting. I think the only bit that bugged me was when they went out the way to say, "Oh, we're near the Red Square." I was like,
God, driving through the
Yeah.
barricades at Red Square.
just
That would have, at that point in time, that would have got them shot.
yes,
Yep.
not a good idea. But that was the only that just stood out to me as a kind of yes, we are in Russia.
Yeah.
Like we know you've done it. It's felt so lived in that it. I just found it. You got that extra added value from the fact that it really did feel like a completely different setting to what you usually have. Canada pretending to be everywhere else in the world.
Way.
I mean, we're watching Supernatural at home. Waifu has got the Supernatural bug now, so she's just racing through.
Yes.
What was a nice Monday night routine is now basically as soon as a little horror show is asleep, it's Supernatural time. Yeah,
Get in.
yeah.
Get
Sam and
in.
Dean.
Or
Yeah,
Vancouver and its surroundings. Yeah.
yes. Good times. Like, whereas this, it's undeniably Russia.
Yeah.
know,
Well,
and
it says
just
on the wiki
interesting
that
because of that.
it says in the wiki that it was all filmed in Moscow as well. So
Mhm.
it's not like
Adds
there's
up.
any. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anything from you? Sorry, I've cut you off again, TCG. I'm so
no.
rude.
I don't know what I was going to say. Actually, I've forgotten now.
No worries. Mergu, any extra thing? Any takes you want to add in? Have I missed something?
It was an enjoyable little film. The red herrings kept my attention. The first half an hour, I was kind of like, okay, get on with it, get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's pretty. She's doing a good job. Come on. And then the chase sequence started, and once she got into the elevator shaft and it got more tense, I was engaged. And watching them use and abuse tropes was kind of fun. I don't think it's 50s or 60s. It's more 70s era B movies from Hollywood is the feeling I got out of the interpretation. Just the way they feel. And it's I really, really liked Oleg Yankovsky as Yankovsky or Yankowski?
Oh, as Larson? Is that we never remember that.
Yankowski as Larson, yeah.
Mm,
I really
he was
enjoyed
great.
him in his role.
He was great. Yeah. Agreed. I think you're right that it does have that late 70s kind of giallo feel where you didn't see all that much except for the sort of the discovery of the body that actually has a load of makeup work on it is a bit of a classic,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good catch. It's done affectionately, spoofingly. Oh gosh, was there something else? No, it's gone out my brain. Oh, a little bonus for Brits seeing Faye Ripley turn up doing an American accent.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a weird one. Anyone not British, that will be weird to you, but she was all over British TV in the 90s and 2000s. She's mostly a comic actress, I believe. Or that's what I associate her with.
Yeah, it does show. Yeah, because what was it? Cold Feet, wasn't it? That was.
Yeah, that was one.
Do you know,
her and John Thompson.
Yeah. I never. Oh, and also, the Irish geezer. What's his name?
Which guy? Irish
James.
Oh, the guy. Yes. Oh, I can picture him. I can picture his damn face. He was in Stephen Moffat thing, Hyde. And many other things.
James
Curly
Nesbitt.
hair.
James Nesbitt.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's a chap.
Yeah, that's like that was one of those shows that was loved in Britain at the time when it was on. It actually did. They did actually bring it back for a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But yes, the American audiences might recognise Helen Baxendale from Friends. She was Ross's second wife. for a period.
Wait, in this?
In Cold Feet.
In Cold Feet, yeah. There we go.
Helen Baxendale, Rachel Bradley is the actress. Her character was Ross's love interest it was one of the earlier seasons, but they do come over to England for a little bit. It was Ross gets married to her and famously says that I take thee, Rachel, to be my lawful wedded wife. And it's like Emily I take the Emily.
Infamous.
But yeah,
there was one other bit I just wanted where Faye Ripley got to shine, and it was when they have the extended sequence of trying to convince the police, and you have I don't think it was done as well as it could have been, but this almost like chess game of things that we have seen and can intuit would be evidence for the police have been have been sort of taken care of by the killers. There's a nice tension of, well, hang on, have they got this? Have they got this? That was nice, but there's a moment where they're relying on showing the footage of the murder. Obviously, it's the first thing you'd think of, right? Go to the scene. They were filming it. Let's look at the footage. And Faye Ripley gets just this really nice moment where she tells the police, like, you can't just take the film out, you'll overexpose it and destroy it. And I just thought that was a really nice detail and like moment of competence for her. I like that. Yeah, I just thought that was a cool detail. Yeah, so good stuff. Nice bit of writing. There's a sort of technical thing that someone in the industry would have known. I appreciated it. But otherwise, I think that's kind of everything on it. Unless you guys had anything else on Meet Witness?
Not really, no. I mean, as I say, I just kind of like with Murgu, it did take me a little while to get into it. But yeah, man, I once it found its feet and it got going, I was fully invested. And as I say, I think with when they do sort of push the boundaries with characters and they give them these, when you have a main character with like a disability, for example, it does add an extra dynamic, and you don't see it a lot. And I think, and I'm not talking about bloody DEI and all that stuff, but I think there are interesting concepts that you can write for both protagonists and antagonists alike. What was the one that they did with the blind? Was it Don't Breathe?
Don't Breathe is a good one with the blind antagonist.
Character.
There's Eyes of Laura Mars, but I think with that one they have to kind of cheat. Like they can't give you her experience as much.
Yeah.
Whereas this got you an experience. You got me now wondering if there are ones about a protagonist in a wheelchair. I can only think of one of the characters. Well, a character in Friday the 13th Part 2, and there's
yes,
and one in Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
I howl with laughter every time I see that death on Friday the 13th.
So good.
That death scene, that
agreed.
Like you said, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors, that's classic. First time he stands up, it's like, ooh.
Is Wait Until Dark with the... John Gorris, is Wait Until Dark with a... Does it have a protagonist in a wheelchair, or is that a blind thing? I'm just interested to know. Sorry. To continue the theme, it's like, this is, again, it's not annoying, boring, intrusive DEI stuff. It's actually it's a cool way to tell a story with kind of an extra spin on it that's interesting. And it certainly does not hurt to kind of get that little insight on actually what it would be like to be mute. Yeah. It's all good here. It's all good. And it's not like the absolutely terrible 2019 Child's Play remake, which is like, hey, here's Andy. He's deaf now. Oh, we will now forget this for the rest of the movie. Drove me mad. Like, they had him deaf, made a big deal of it, and then they totally forgot about it. Drove me nuts. Anyway, sorry. Apologies. I just remembered how much I hated that movie. Oh, dear. Yeah, well, I think that might be it. Shall we move into closing thoughts and scores? And stay firmly in Super Nanny's good books.
Bloody hell, these streams are getting shorter, Horror Show.
I'm telling you, well, you wait. I'll work my magic, the dream. I will coax John D on to talk about The Shining, and then we'll be in for a 5-hour mega session.
Go for it. Only if you come on my quiz. That we've got to get you back on my quiz at some point, Horror Show. Come on.
I reckon I can give it a go. I can try.
I've got a spot on the 26th. Just gonna hold you to it now.
Let me confirm later. I'll try if I can. As I say, little Horror Show is my scheduler.
Oh, Little Horror Show can join in as well.
She did last stream. Blooming heck. All right. Well, folks, if you saw this, get your thoughts and scores in. I certainly want to hear them. And I'm going to go way back to Lisa, who actually got a score in super early. I'm just going to read hers out because she went out of her way to put this in. I thought this was good. So Lisa says, never get to listen live, but dropping in to leave my review. I was so excited when I saw this go up on Shudder, and it sounded great, and the poster was super eye-catching. Well, absolutely. And Shudder is really good at doing this, at just finding some of those old gems. I don't use Shudder as much as I should, but I've been a paid member of that for years at this point. And I'm very happy to throw them a bit of money because they get this interesting content. They help fund their own. Yes, they are a little paused, but what can you do? Anyway, carrying on. The movie was going in the direction I exited and else probably expected, and then took a left turn. I guess that's good, but it threw me off for a while. Yeah.
Common thing, yeah.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, tonally, it's tough to adjust for. You also, it doesn't have the story rhythm you expect. Like, I think we all expected the chase around the studio to be like 4 minutes, not a 14-minute mega sequence.
Yeah.
You know, so like pretty impressive. Afterwards, I reevaluated and I really like it now. 9 out of 12 burgers. Gherkins too, absolutely. We all know why. We don't know why, but it feels correct. Oh, I think people know what gherkin stands for, don't they? If they don't, we won't reveal it, but...
Spicy pickles.
Spicy pickles can be in there. Oh no, one of the future... If you haven't worked it out on the next movie arc, I'm sure you will see many gherkins turning up, so you can probably guess from that. But yes, there we go. We've got a 9 out of 12 from Lisa, and thank you. Even if you can't watch live, you're one of those amazing people who's there for the replay. You're very much appreciated. All right. Oh, question. Whose little horror show? Victoria, that is my daughter, who is now a 13 weeks old. It flies by, absolutely flies by. I refer to her as Little Horror Show on this. Right, so reviews are coming in. Mergut, would you like to go first?
Sure. It was a cute little horror comedy. Once it got going, it held the suspense. It had some great reversals throughout. I really liked the acting. The actress who did Billy was very, very good. I did like Oleg Yankovsky. And I'll give it 8 out of 12 burgers. I would recommend it to somebody. I don't know if I'll rewatch it, but 8 out of 12 burgers. A little bit of pickle, a little bit of fake ketchup, very sugared ketchup, and some borscht.
Ooh, borscht on the burger. Yeah. Yeah, she is Victoria. She is amazing. Highly recommended. Sorry, I shouldn't be gooey. I should be focused on the horror. Sorry. Yeah, fair play. Sorry, Mergu. Just that score again. Oh, just
8
getting the
out of
number.
12.
8. Yes. Yes. I like the borscht edition. Yes. All right, TCG. How about yourself?
Yeah, this film was all right actually. I quite liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, common theme though. It did sort of start. Not that it's really weird to explain because it's not that it. I think it knew what it was from the outset, but I think as a viewer, it kind of took me a bit of time to understand what was going on and what the approach was to this film. But yeah, when I cottoned on, I was fully in with it. The chase scene was perhaps a little longer than it could have been, but it didn't bother me too much, I suppose. The twists and the turns and the fake outs, the face turns, heel turns, there was a lot of it, an awful lot of it, and it was mostly aimed at one particular character, that Larson dude. I liked it. Do you know what? Right, I think compared to what films can be like today, I thought this was well written. I think the concept was very interesting. I like that they expanded on that as well by plonking them into a foreign land where English wasn't the native language. I also like the fact that they also limited the subtitles as well to not provide translation for Russian dialect. So as a viewer, you were limited in terms of what you yourself could understand, which put yourself in the perspective of the people that couldn't understand Billy. Yeah, and you know, a bit of Obi-Wan Kenobi as well sneaked in there as well. So I would say 9 out of 12. I'll give it a 9. I would definitely recommend it. I paid $3.99 for this on Prime. Purchased, I might add, fully own it now. Well, I say fully own it as long as Amazon don't take my account away from me. I do love the blood effects on it. The practical effects were really good. Which I think the budget on this was only like 3.1 mil, which wasn't a huge budget. So they spent that money well. Probably went a lot further in Russia as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, yeah, with lots and lots of ketchup, quite an extortionate bit of cheese as well, and yeah, we're gonna throw one twist in it. We're gonna pop that meaty burger inside a vegan box.
Ooh. Never see it coming.
Fake out. Boom.
Nice. All right. These are some pretty. I'm liking these scores. We've got like an 8 to a 10, and people are pretty consistent. I think Victoria's 3 burgers is. I think it's the only. Definitely didn't work for you, Victoria, but no, you know what? You gave it a go, and that's what I respect. So, didn't work for you, but good on you for trying. A bottle of vodka will help any film, I tend to find. As for me, okay, really respect it as a debut. Great performances, especially Marina Zudina. Faye Ripley really impressed me. Comic characters were fun and not annoying, which is a bit of an achievement. And I liked the slightly unusual structure where it felt like they cut out a lot of stuff that you usually expected to be in there and just focused on, it's not quite a vignette, but focused on the key elements of the story. I was a fan of that. The humor worked for me. The gore was great. And I think there was an interesting little bit of sort of meta text going on there. Worked for me. and just the interest, just setting it in Russia made it interesting. I was a lot more intrigued purely because of that. And it also gave you a sort of sense of dread because everyone you were caring about was an outsider. So good stuff, good stuff. Well done. It makes me tempted to check out a few more he's done. Like he's done one with, the director's done one with Bill Pullman that I kind of fancy checking out. So we like a bit of Bill Pullman. We'll give it a go. Yes. Where do I land on this score-wise? Because some of it is a tad dated and the tone was a little up and down, I'm probably going to have to limit it to a 9. But that's still a good recommendation, I'd say, for people. This is interesting. 9 borscht burgers in a restaurant that was previously a McDonald's but now cannot be, as they've withdrawn from the country. Lots of some cheap ketchup, some high quality ketchup, and more pickles than expected, but definitely appreciated, if you don't mind my saying so. Yeah, I think a very respectable film. Also, we haven't said enough, but there are some nice shots in this. Nice shots.
There are really some good shots there. Shots there.
A fair few, especially when she's. I'm thinking. I'll just get the example up here. Lots of. Where are we? There are lots of shots like this that make her nice and vulnerable. Close up on her for the emotional reaction, while you're just watching people prowl looking for her. I really liked those. Oh
yeah, Bob Newhart, man.
Oh, apologies, I don't know Bob Newhart.
American Comedian had 2 of the best rated American comedy television shows, the Bob Newhart Show and Newhart, and big crowd pleaser in the 60s and 70s on the stand-up.
Harry would probably recognize the name based on the Simpsons episode where Krusty fakes his death, and at the funeral there, he's there, and he's oh god, what's his name? Troy McClure is giving like a eulogy, and then he hands over to Bob Newhart, but he was like, "Oh, I'm actually here for somebody else." He was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize." Bob Newhart, everyone. He gives a speech remembering Krusty, and he doesn't actually know who Krusty was.
There's a Simpsons for everything, man.
Which, interestingly enough, was how I found out just now about Bob Newhart. I was scrolling the old Twitter timeline, and yeah, the out of context 20th Century Fox, R.I.P. Bob Newhart with that scene.
My goodness. Well, before we go any further, Patrick Batman, thank you very much for sending in £5, recommending a short horror film by Jordu Shell on YouTube called Remote Viewing, a great body horror short. These are, short horror film recommendations. Send them in. We want to do another horror shorts rating stream. We really do. We love the last 2. So, excellent. Remote Viewing. We have to remember that, guys. That has got to go on our list. Very much appreciated. And by the way, next week we'll be doing the spooky music videos starter topic. So we'll see how much. We'll probably have a few weeks of doing that because you sent loads of them. So we'll be working through them and ranking those. But I'm looking forward to that. Thank you again, Patrick. And the NREAB has done a favour to all of you, and he's gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much, the NREAB.
Legend.
There you go, folks. Yeah. 5 of you can now get in there and enjoy some of the back catalogue exclusives. And tell you what, that motivates me. That gives me the push. I'm going to. I really need to get the next commentary done for you all. So I'll be checking people's availability and just sort of see who can come in and do the next one. But yes, thank you very much for the memberships. Everyone who got them, enjoy them. Go back into the exclusives. There is a playlist for member-only content that you can enjoy. All right. Well, there we go, folks. That is our thoughts and scores for Mute Witness, all between 8. Well, everyone's about between 8 and 10, so pretty good. Pretty. I think this definitely counts as an underrated gem. I hope more people seek it out. You can find it very easily on Shudder, or you can get it on Amazon, apparently quite easily. And
You can rent it from YouTube directly also.
there we go. Yeah, so not that hard to get your hands on. And now the important question. The Henry Ab asking, is Wishmaster the horror homework? It's free on YouTube. Perfect. Yes. Wishmaster is the horror homework. I'm going to be watching the first sequel as well, so I'll see how that goes. You guys don't have to. If you want to put in the extra credit, you can. But yeah, Wishmaster is our horror homework. Yiz will be joining us as she campaigned for it. I was kind of mixed on it. I was a bit mixed on it, but we'll see if I like it a bit more on a rewatch. And I'm also going to watch Mr. Frost, which I've found a copy of it on Odyssey. That's Mr. Frost 1990 with Jeff Goldblum. I'm going to give that a go, and hopefully we'll be able to get that watched as well. All right, folks, that is everything from us this week. Your reminder, Wishmaster is your horror homework, and Mute Witness has our recommendation. All right, folks, we'll sign off there. Thank you very much, Mergu and TCG.
Thank you very much. Pleasure as always. Guys, tomorrow, 9 p.m. UK time, Friday night community quiz. We're doing a Trump trivia session to, because it's, you know, it seems relevant. Remember, if you don't turn up, you're gay.
There we go. Confirmed. All right, folks. And chat, it's been fun tonight. Thank you for super chats. Always appreciated. And good to see you, folks. Right. I will wish you a happy Friday, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend ahead. All right, folks. All the best. Thanks, y'all. Cheers.
#Shield Gang.